Coming up on the World Sailing Show, we head to the Atlantic for the New York Vendée. Continue our look at the classes competing at the Paris Olympics and find out what it takes to even the keel. It's time to continue our meet and greet with medal contenders for Paris 2024 as we run the rule over some of the defending champions, world beaters and new kids on the block. Today the spotlight falls on 470 duo Jordi Schama and Nora Brugman. Having played bridesmaids on the two previous occasions, the Spanish pair won World Championship gold in Mallorca this March.
Finally winning the World Championship was super special. With Nora, we were 2 times silver medals, also last campaign, 3 times medaling, but never win the gold. So kind of a dream come true to win a senior World Championship on an Olympic class.
It's a good sign that we were able to take the gold at the World Championship. We're very happy about it, but we know that the Olympics is a completely different race. We don't go there with more pressure or with the expectations really high. We just are really focused on the details until the summer, and obviously that will be the moment where we need to perform our best. And the World Championship is just a good sign, I guess.
The 470 mixed class is new for the Paris Games, but Schama had no doubt that he wanted his fellow Catalan sailor on board for this Olympic campaign.
I knew Nora had a lot of experience in the boat and also had what it takes to win a medal, or at least to do a campaign to perform. So I had quite clear that I wanted to sail with her.
We've been sailing in the same fleet, Optis and 420s, and eventually in 470, but obviously in 2 different fleets. We've known each other for many, many years, so it's kind of meant to be.
Out on the water, the pair admit that they're not the quietest during races.
We get synchronized a lot. I think the moment when it works the best is when we're both in a high attitude, I guess.
When we are both loud.
Yeah, when we're both loud. I feel like people around us think that we are like yelling at each other. We're just encouraging each other, to be honest. Half of the time we would be like saying things to push each other. And we can be together very intense and also calm each other down when the intensity goes too high.
Adding the European crown to their world title has heightened expectations they can win Olympic gold for Spain in the Bay of Marseille.
It gives us confidence, that we really wanted to win this World Championship, both of us, and we did it. So I think it's one more time we prove that we perform under pressure. And after, obviously, Marseille is a very particular place. We have the French that are locals there, super strong. They won the test event, so probably they are the main favorites there. But for sure, we are the neighbors from Spain that would like to catch their gold. So yes, they are the team to beat in Marseille, to be honest, but for sure we will be pushing as hard as we can.
The French pair of Camille Lecointe and Jeremy Moin have peaked at just the right time, with recent victories in Palma and Hyères. And another strong contender for gold at the Games could be the experienced Japanese pair of Keiju Okada and Miho Yoshioka.
Keiju and Miho are a super good team, to be honest. Keiju, I know Keiju from a long time, also since last campaign. We were training together in Tamami, and he's a super talented guy. And to be honest, we've learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from them and from him especially, so for sure they will be one team pushing strong in the Games.
The Bay of Marseille could throw up almost any conditions this summer, but the Spanish pair know the waters well. After bronze in Tokyo, Schama will hope to move up to the top step in the new mixed 470 class with Brugman.
Well, for me personally, it's going to be my first time at the Olympics, so that is very special. And I think being able to do it with Jordi and also our coach, they have a lot of experience in going to the Games and obviously winning medals. So it's been really good for me to learn from them and that they share their experience with me and kind of put me in context. So when I get there, it's all going to be new for me, but I'm kind of already in that mindset.
The Games are always special, no? I think it's also games close from home. We will have many people from our country coming, and for sure we really hope to perform, but also to enjoy and yeah, hopefully win another medal for our country.
Last month, Musto launched Evening the Keel on their YouTube channel. A collaboration with World Sailing, the four-part series presented by Tracy Edwards explores the challenges faced by female sailors in the world of offshore racing and how they've changed since 1989, when she skipped the first all-female crew in the Whitbread Round the World race.
Some say our maiden campaign was the start of a real drive for women to be given the same opportunities as men in the world of offshore racing. But over 30 years later, how far have we actually come?
I think there is definitely an imbalance in sailing with women in the sport in general. I feel that it's not only in sailing, it's pretty much the nature of a lot of sports.
In reality, unless you're a very experienced sailor who's been on the team for a really long time, and adding to that you're female, it can be quite tricky to actually get a chance to do a lot of the roles on the boats.
For me, at the time I arrived in offshore sailing, arriving at that point, it was already acceptable that women could sail boats, thanks to Tracy Edwards, the maiden crew and what they did. So I was coming off the back of that, so it was acceptable. It was no longer embarrassing or a shame or unlucky, and it was now, females can do this just as well as we have.
I think diversity is key in any team, sport team, in the work environment, in the office or any kind of environment, because it's not just about female-male balance, but it's just diversity in general. Different perspective, different background, different cultures. I feel that then it's such a broader spectrum where everybody brings something into the team and bring a different perspective. So instead of ending up with a really close view, you're actually ending up with a super wide view about things.
Balancing an offshore career, or any career for that matter, with being a mum can be trickier than traversing the Southern Ocean. So how do women in the sport manage it?
In the Olympic world, it's still, for the moment, still quite okay. We have good experience of females who gave birth and came back at a really high level, and you can take a break, you can come back with your same ranking you had before you left. In the offshore world, I think we're a bit less supported on that because we're more jumping from one project to another. For us, it's probably hard to know when it's the good moment to take a break.
I don't know if it's more difficult for women than for men to handle both the personal life and the professional life. It's true that what happens during pregnancy and what happens after has way more effect on women than men.
I chat with Will, the other co-skipper, a lot, and he is 29 and I'm 27, and we were saying, maybe in 5 years we both have children. And he said, yeah, but Rosie, if you want to have children, how are you going to manage? So it involves a little bit more thinking and managing, I think. And as well, if you see the physical work on the boat, I think you're not able to do it if you're pregnant or you're just recovering from having a baby, There were many women before me, so we will find a way too, for sure.
Our journey to even the keel is a long one, but it's a battle worth fighting. We weather storms, only to be hit by another one. But a smooth sea never made a skillful sailor.
There are more and more women taking part and being competitive, and there are more and more opportunities. The race organisers, the class associations, World Sailing, everyone is working towards diversity, equality, but it's a slow process.
There's a shift in change now, because as soon as we grow better in diverse hiring and recruitment, as soon as we stop choosing the easy way out, hiring from our old boys network, all those teams who hired females on the boat, they see the upside of it, so we can see that we are making great steps.
It's time to continue our look at the classes that will be riding the waves at Paris 2024 now, as France's Erwan Fischer and Clément Pécoin and Dutch duo Odile van Arnholt and Annette Duets give us the lowdown on the double-handed skiffs they'll be racing in Marseille.
The 49er is the double-handed men's skiff at Paris 2024.
The 49er FX is the women's skiff.
The 49er fix and the 49er class are pretty similar. We sail the exact same hull, but because the men are heavier and taller, they have a longer mast and bigger sail area.
The boat has 3 sails. We use the main sail and the jib always, and we use the colorful gennaker to sail in the downwinds.
While I'm sailing, I'm looking about the wind shift. We speak together to take some decision where we tack, where we jibe.
We can trim our boat for any wind there is. When there are light winds, we try to make the sails as powerful as possible so we can hike into it and have pressure. And when it gets very windy, we want to decrease that power, have flat sails so we can keep going fast.
The 49er is very tiring, so we need to have a good physical preparation.
If there's not so much breeze, we do a lot of leg bending and we need to have really strong legs. And if it's windy, we need to have really strong arms to pull ourselves in the boat from the trapeze.
We use trapeze harnesses, which allow us to stand farther outside of the boat and make the boat go really fast.
Paris 2024, we will have 19 boats on the starting line, and we will have 4 days of racing on fleet.
And on the 5th day, we have the medal race with the top 10 competitors to decide who wins the medals.
In Marseille, there are lots of mountains and islands around, so the wind's very funky.
Sometimes we have some sea breeze, very light and choppy condition. We can also have some mistral, strong wind with a big wave.
So we can have like the forecast around 20 to 30 knots, maybe more.
We have a really good fleet, so there are a lot of medal contenders, but among them are Sweden, Brazil, USA, Norway, Poland, Spain, Italy.
And us, hopefully.
I think maybe 8 boats can got the medal. Bart Lambrix and Floris van der Werkel, who are very good. They won 3 times the World Championships. And we have a Spanish boat, Kiwis, Croatian guys. We have a lot of boats can manage to get a medal.
The final qualifying race for this year's Vendée Globe began in New York at the end of May. A 28-strong international fleet of single-handed sailors setting out on a 3,200-mile journey across the Atlantic to Les Sables d'Olonne in France.
C'est important de montrer qui est en forme.
It's important to show who's in shape, who means business. It's for yourself, to build up your self-confidence. And if there's a bit of an advantage to be gained, so much the better. The aim is to win this New York Les Sables race.
Sur cette New York Les Sables.
The rule says only 40 boats can start the Vendée Globe, and I'm number 40. So to keep my place, I had to continue to sail as many miles as possible. I'll have to sail in my safe mode for this race, though, so as not to break anything and get to the finish.
Sam Davis and fellow Brit Sam Goodchild were the early front runners, although the weather was testing the fleet, who constantly needed to tack to find breeze.
We've got dark clouds. We've got a bit of blue sky. And then a lovely sunrise in front of the boat. Whoa, I'm staying inside now, and that's it. It's very unstable.
Boris Herman had chosen to take a northerly route across the Atlantic, which didn't appear to be any faster.
Have a look. Malizia is this fast. So getting across this Gulf Stream is much harder than I anticipated. And the only method to deal with it is taking it easy, I think.
Herman finally picked up speed to lead the way from Charlie Darlin and Nicolas Lundven. Meanwhile, Yannick Bestaven, winner of the last Vendée Globe, was amongst those getting increasingly frustrated by the conditions.
Il pleut, bergère. It's raining heavily. We can't go on like this. It's so hard, so hard. This is my speed, 1.5 knots. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know what to do. I'm tired of maneuvering in all directions. I just don't know what to do.
By day 6, Darlin had opened up a 250-mile lead and was looking favourite to win the race.
Wake like this is always good.
Those who decided to stay south and pass close to the Azores were eventually slowed.
It's a bit confused. We fell into this light patch earlier than expected. I'm really disappointed and annoyed. I really wanted to stick with the boats in front. That's just the way it is, I guess.
After more than a week at sea, the pack began to catch some breeze. Far to the north, Boris Herrmann finally made his move to head south in a bid for second place.
31 knots boat speed and 20 knots, 21 knots of wind.
To the south, Sam Goodchild aboard his Imoca Vulnerable was in trouble.
I guess you've seen that I've dismasted. The mast has gone. We don't really know why yet, but we're taking things one step at a time. The shore team is working on some solutions.
The Brit was soon heading to the Azores under jury rig, but he wasn't the only one in trouble. After fixing his mainsail battens, Yannick Besteven then broke one of the cables holding up the mast, severely hampering his progress once again. Jeremy Bayou, Thomas Roya and Sébastien Simon were locked in a battle for third place, but Boris Herrmann's charge from the north looked to have secured second place behind Charlie Darlin. On Saturday night at 11:44 p.m, after 10 days and 3 hours of racing, Darlin crossed the finish line in first place. He'd covered 3,700 miles at an average speed of 15 knots.
It's brilliant. I'm really happy with this victory in the New York Vendée Les Sables d'Olonne transatlantic race. We've won it, and that's what counts.
The winner spent a night at anchor before setting off up the legendary Chanel des Sables on Sunday morning to savour the Vendée welcome. Darlin is now installed as one of the favourites for the big one, the Vendée Globe, which sets sail in the autumn. It's time to catch up with some of the other stories making news around the world. Following on from the success of last year's event in The Hague, World Sailing has announced the host cities for the 2026 and 27 World Championships, which moves to a split format for the first time. Valencia's Real Club Nautico will stage the one-person events next summer, while Gdynia in Poland will host the two-person competition in 2027. Both championships will also stage para-inclusive events and act as the first Olympic qualifiers for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. Strong winds caused havoc on the water as Sail GP made its debut in Halifax, Canada. Fleet racing at round 11 marked by several near misses before Australia became the second team in as many regattas to capsize. Despite the drama, Emirates Great Britain made it through to the final, along with France and Denmark, with Giles Scott holding off the other two boats to record GBR's third win of the season. The result moves them up to 6th place in the championship, with New Zealand still leading and 2 rounds left to race. France and Italy have dominated competition at the Wingfoil European Championships on Lake Silvaplana in Switzerland. 55 riders from 14 countries were taking part in the 5-day event, with Mathis Guillot of France topping men's qualifying and Italy's Maddalena Spano doing the same in the women's event. Guillot only needed one race in the final series to secure gold, ahead of compatriot Oscar Leclerc, while Spano was equally impressive, beating teammate Marta Mong in her opening race to claim the women's title. Finally, the 52 Super Series has made its debut in Newport, Rhode Island for the second regatta of the season. Quantum Racing dominated the opening 4 days, winning half of the first 6 fleet races. Going into the final day, they held a 3-point lead over their nearest rival. But a last-place finish for Quantum in the penultimate round saw them surrender that lead to the Thai-flagged Veyu, who secured overall victory with 8th place in the final race. The result leaves Veyu 6th in the championship, although Quantum retained the lead despite their disappointing finish in Newport. Back to our countdown to the Olympics, with a look at another of the classes that will be riding the waves at Paris 2024. Today, Israel's Sharon Cantor and the Netherlands' Luc van Opzeeland explain the basics of the new windsurfing event they'll be competing in at Marseille.
IG foil is the windsurf class for the Olympic Games, and this time we're going to foil. It's the follow-up of the previous Air 6 class. It's a little bit more extreme, it's a little bit more exciting. It's a step into the future, into the right direction. We're having a board, obviously, that keeps us afloat. Underneath that there we have a foil that allows us to fly. And you'll see us race most of the time around 50 to 60 kilometers an hour.
You cannot find this speed in sailing. It's crazy. You can just be so fast by control, and it can be so cool. The difference between boys and girls in the Olympic class, the board is the same, the foil is the same, but the sail, the men's is 9 meters and the women's is 8 meters.
Our sails are actually quite diverse. We're able to pull them tighter, make the sails a little bit flatter, allowing them to release the pressure a little bit better when the wind picks up. And this allows us to range in a very broad range of wind.
In our class, you need to be pretty physical and fit. We need to pump a lot, and it's a pretty hard class.
We're doing up to 6 races a day, with sometimes a marathon in there. So yeah, imagine you're doing a little sprint yourself for a solid 15 minutes, and then you got to do it 6 times a day for 5 days in a row. It is quite demanding, and we train really hard for this. The conditions in Marseille during the Olympics is going to be very black and white, in my opinion. I think we're either going to have a beautiful mistral and 20 knots, or we're going to have some marginal sea breeze, 5 to 9 knots, I assume. We do a very interesting final series, winner takes all. So it really comes down to that one moment, and the one that is going to be able to keep his head the coolest and perform its best under pressure is going to bring the medal home. Who am I looking at that could be winning a medal? My training partner, Nico Lorena, up there, 100%. Nico Goyard, fighting for a medal. Myself, I'm going to fight for a medal.
On the podium in Marseille, it can be Emma Wilson from Great Britain, also Sarah Winnekes from the Netherlands, and I think also Mina Mobek from Norway, and I hope that I will be also.
That's it for now. Next time, we finish our countdown to the Paris Olympics. And Sail GP heads to San Francisco for the finale of Season 4.